So in the new project under games, name your project to whatever you like. I'll just leave it as default and make sure starter content is ticked. Let's select third person and press create. So let's head over to the content drawer. Let's dock this in the layout, and under content, third person blueprints, BP third person character, double click that. Head over to this website, which I have a link in the description. So this is the function for the line trace. Highlight everything here, Control C to copy it, back in Unreal in BP third person character, Control V, paste everything in here, make sure everything is selected, right click, collapse to function, and call it line trace. Double click on line trace and take this first reroute node, connect that to the input, take the second one, make sure it has its own input, and get this other colored one, and that is the last input. Let's rename them to distance. The second one will be spread, and the last one will be the draw debug type. Move down to the right here, press tab, add a return node here, connect the execution pin, and let's take the out hit and the return value, connect it like that. So one thing we want to make sure is that this area here where we get the word location and rotation, that we are using the same camera that we are looking through. So in our case, it is called the follow cam. So if you are using something else, make sure it's connected here. So switch over to the viewport, select the camera boom, parent that to the mesh by dragging it up here. And with the camera boom selected, let's change the target arm length to 0. And let's set the parent socket, the head, and make sure you reset the location. And let's bring it slightly forward. Select the BP third person up here and search rotation. And make sure use controller desired rotation is ticked. Orient rotation to movement is unticked. And use controller rotation yaw, leave that to ticked. In the content folder, right click, let's add a new folder, call it interact. Inside that, right click, add a blueprint class of type actor, call it BP base item. Right click again, search interface, blueprint interface, call it BPI interact. We'll click that. Inside here, rename the new function to interact. Compile and save. Inside BP base item, let's add a cube, call it base mesh, and make that the default scene root. Head over to class settings, implemented interface. Let's add the BPI interact. Compile that. Head back over to BP third person, hit tab and look for the event tick. Connect that to the line trace. Let's set the distance to 250. From the return value, drop a branch node here. And from the out hit, let's break that hit result. Expand that. From the hit actor, drag off and search plus implement interface. And let's select our BPI interact here. Drop another branch node, connect the return value to the condition, and from true to this branch. And if it's true, we drag off the hit actor, remote to variable, call it interact ref. And we'll set that here in the true. And if it's false, let's copy paste this one, connect that to here, so it will clear the interact reference. And for this one, we also want to connect it from the first branch here. So let's move down here, right click, search for keyboard, select any one of these, hit this keyboard icon, select the E key on your keyboard. So when pressed, let's get the interact reference. Let's right click that and convert to validate get. And from press, let's connect that. So if it is valid, we will call the interact message here. And if it's not valid, we won't do anything. And to quickly test this out, make sure you compile it first. Head over to BP base item. We can double click under the interface tab here. Get this new event. And we will just write destroy actor here, and we'll connect this like so. And so when we press play, oops, first let's add the PP item in here, PP base item into the viewport. When we press play and walk up to it, press E, it should be destroyed. Let's add a simple interact dot. So in the content folder, right click, let's add new folder, call it widgets. Inside here, we right click again and search for widget, widget blueprint, user widget, WBP interact dot. Inside the widget, search for canvas panel. Write that down here. And let's search for image. Write that into the canvas panel. Select that image. Make sure the anchor is set to the center. Reset the positions here. Let's set the alignment to 0.5, 0.5. And let's set the size to 20 and 20. With the image selected, let's go to visibility. Let's create a binding. And before we do that, head over to the event graph. Under event preconstruct, cast to PP third person, the third person character. And from object, we drag off and get player character. Then we can convert as PP third person character, drag off, promote to variable. Head back to the get visibility function. Let's get that new reference. And let's get the interact ref. Let's convert that to validate get. Connect that here. And if it is valid, we set it to visible. Copy paste the return node. Connect that to is not valid. And set the return value to hidden. Head back to PP third person. And over here in the event begin play, drag off here and create a widget and select the interact widget, WBP interact dots, and then the return value. Let's add it to viewport. So now when we press play, walk up to an item, we get this interact dot. So yeah, that's it. That covers everything about this interaction system. So that's probably the fastest tutorial I will ever make. So yeah, hopefully you can use this for your projects, or if you'd like, I made this video specifically for a door video tutorial, which I will post soon. Hopefully you'll take a look at that as well. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.